Hello and welcome back to the wonderful world of unboxing an entire collection. I believe we are on week 19. It's been a couple of weeks, and today I picked a box that's labeled Breyer Resin, Jamboree Stetson Porcelain, and Holiday Horse. So this will be interesting. We've got a little bit of variety here. And let's find out what we got first. So first up, this is Jamboree 2000 Porcelain Stetson, and it is indeed Horses 2000 Collection Fine Porcelain Model Horses. I remember when these came out, it was quite exciting. There was quite a bit of innovation happening at the time with people making resins and chinas and different manufacturers. So it was very cool to have an entirely new manufacturer of model horses. So here we have the brochure for Stallions USA Horses 2000. About the artist, Nancy Belden was the sculptor, and they have they had 5 models. So this one comes with his ticket, good for 1 Stetson, and a certificate of authenticity for Stetson the Clydesdale Stallion. He is still in his original box with all of his original gewgaws, so that's kind of fun. So fine porcelain models are actually fired porcelain. So when you kind of flick them, they'll ring a little bit. So this is Stetson, the Clydesdale Stallion. He's got his bows and his mane and tail. He's a black pinto. And I'm going to say the sculpture is very nice, but the paint job is a little lacking. It looks like somebody just took a whiteout kind of thing and did the markings. He is signed on his belly, Nancy Belden. So that's very cool. I can see why these maybe didn't last the long term. They're really nice models, but porcelains, you have to fire the paint on at very high temperatures. And so if you wanted to remake this, you could cold paint it. But the paint job's kind of lacking. And so as a model horse collector, he's a fun piece of history, but probably not something that you're going to want a bunch of for your collection. So it is fun, though, to see him with all of his original paperwork and tickets and everything. So that's pretty cool. The ephemera sometimes can be just as fun and exciting as the models. So next we have the Breyer 2001 Jingles the Holiday Pony. 5th in the series of holiday horses, Breyer introduces Jingles, our 2001 holiday pony. So they took Misty, and if I remember correctly, this is one of the first, if not the first, new paint job on Misty, other than the original Misty of Chincoteague paint job. And they've done her in a really, really nice matte gray with a white mane and tail, and then she comes with a harness, and she's pulling a sleigh that says 2001 Peace on Earth with a bunch of packages. This one is still sealed, still taped shut, and I have this horse, so I remember unpacking him. There's lots of little bits of styrofoam all over, so I'm not going to unpack him out of his box. But it's a really pretty model. That is a very popular color on that Misty mold. And last but not least, this is a box without a ton of stuff in it, but interesting stuff. This is Dakota, the Rocky Mountain Horse. Dakota is portrayed at the amble, a gait that is unique to this breed and is presented on a maple hardwood base with brass plaque. I actually don't have this horse. Oh, okay, here we go. Dakota, the mountain horse, sculpted by equine artist Summer Prosser. Dakota's unique gait, realistic coloring, and detailed musculature is captured in artist's resin. You will see this guy's... Really? Really? I'm just going to keep going. That's my phone. Welcome to the wonderful world of doing videos at home. I'm going to open this one to show you the difference, and hopefully my phone stops ringing, but it probably won't, just to annoy me. This is going to be a little lesson in the difference between porcelain and resin. I have all kinds of wonderful tools down here that I'm going to need. So porcelain is fired to very high temperatures in a kiln. Resin is cast. It's kind of a rubber or plastic, and it's cast cold. So you'll see the term, this one, the plastic or the styrofoam's all come into pieces. You'll see the term cold cast resin. Be very careful if you ever see that term, or cold cast porcelain, because what it means is he is resin. So this is very heavy. This is Dakota. It's a nice paint job, very nice model. They've done a lovely job with him. He is very heavy. He is solid, and if you kind of tap him, it's a kind of a dull thunk. And so, like I said, they pour the resin into the mold, and you're done, and then you have the horse, and they're solid. This guy is fine porcelain. He is poured into a mold just like the resins are, but then he's fired, so he is hollow. He is very light. He weighs very little. This guy I could probably take out a burglar with because he's pretty heavy. So if you're a collector and you're just starting to get into the resins and the porcelains, beware that if you ever see a model advertised as cold cast porcelain, it means resin. It's going to be very heavy. And if it's advertised as porcelain, it's going to be fired and very light. It's going to affect what the model looks like, what you can do with it, how you can mold it. But it's just something that I'd like you to know as a new or experienced collector, because it is a critical difference knowing what you're going to get. The difference between a very heavy, solid piece and something that's lighter weight. And they're both fragile, just in different ways. The porcelains tend to be more fragile in cold. They'll kind of take that cold and it'll affect the actual piece and make it more fragile. Resins tend to not. They tend to be a little more affected by heat. So you got to know what you're collecting. So it was a short box, but it was an interesting one, and hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next week.